Psychedelics in our culture today are thought to be nothing more than hallucinations that originate inside of your brain. But what if something much more incredible is going on? I will explore how psychedelics have had a profound effect on humanity and how we have lost our connection with them. A lot of this information has been part of other topics and other videos. A lot will be repeated, but the premise of this video is very different from the others. Psychedelic compounds have been a central part of almost every culture in history. The Egyptians, the Aztecs, and the Native Americans are just a few. The Egyptians had the blue water lily, the Aztecs had mushrooms, and the Native Americans had peyote. Each culture believed that these substances allowed them to communicate with their gods or goddesses, or in the Native Americans' case, spirit guides. Another religion that has its roots in psychedelics is Christianity. The Gnostics were some of the earliest Christians. The Gnostic Gospels predate the Bible and tells a very different story. The Gnostics believed that the entity known as God, or Yahweh, wasn't God. He was a demigod or a demon. They called him the demiurge. He wanted to trick mankind into believing in him to increase his own power. In the Gnostic religion, the tree of life in the Garden of Eden is depicted as an Amanita muscaria mushroom. Jesus is depicted as holding a mushroom representing the body of Christ. Jesus actually said that God wasn't God. He said that we were all the gods and goddesses. It was inside of us. Adam and Eve were instructed not to eat from the tree of knowledge. It would appear to me that God doesn't want them to have knowledge. He wants them to blindly follow and never question. The snake in the garden is seen as a good guy. Like in many cultures, the snake is regarded as a teacher. He seeks to liberate Adam and Eve from their shackles. Shamans in the Amazon have been cooking a brew called ayahuasca for thousands of years. When asked how they figured out how to make it, they reply, "The plants told us how to do it." There are three components to brewing ayahuasca: a vine, a leaf, and water. The vine contains dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. DMT is the most powerful psychedelic known to man, but isn't orally active. As I've said, the vine contains DMT, but the leaf contains an MAO inhibitor, allowing DMT to become orally active. People from all around the world come to drink ayahuasca. Ayahuasca for many people seems to be a miraculous form of therapy. There are many reports of ayahuasca teaching the participants life lessons. In fact, in the Amazon, ayahuasca is considered to be a teacher. A lot of people experience great serpents or a blue lady who is referred to as Mother Ayahuasca. Drug addicts have stopped cold turkey without any withdrawal symptoms after participating in ayahuasca ceremonies. They never had a craving again. Shamanic cultures also experience contact with entities very similar to what we call aliens. It really would seem that to a lot of people, ayahuasca affects their life for the better. Does it matter if they are hallucinations or not? Is it possible that these hallucinations could actually be our minds peering into alternate dimensions? Could these be actual conscious beings living right next door to us? DMT, as I said, is the most powerful psychedelic known to man. It is also produced in your own brain. The most likely source is the pineal gland, which has long been associated with the third eye. In fact, DMT is responsible for your dreaming. DMT is produced in larger quantities during heavy REM sleep. When you dream at night, you are literally having a psychedelic experience. DMT is produced in massive amounts when your body believes it's going to die. This could be why so many people have out-of-body experiences or claim to have peered into the other side. When Dr. Rick Strassman was allowed to conduct experiments with DMT, his results were fascinating. His subjects were given DMT by way of intravenous injection. Some reported contact with entities that were part man and part animal. Such beings are referred to as therianthropes, and these are common in many psychedelic experiences from many cultures around the world. Some even reported typical alien abduction encounters, but it is clear that these men and women were not physically abducted as they never left their beds. Let's look at typical reports of alien abductions. Most people are said to be in their bed, either sleeping or laying down. A common report is seeing owls and deer before the actual abduction occurs. Therianthropes are also reported. DMT is responsible for your dreams. Most abduction stories happen while a person is sleeping or laying down. Connection? Maybe. Perhaps the beings we call aliens are not space travelers, but interdimensional beings. It is well established that there are natural energy waves that flow around the world. When several people all have the same experience, whether going into a spaceship or seeing a UFO, it is possible that the energy wave has passed over them, causing their brains to spontaneously produce a larger DMT output. Science tells us that hallucinations are random products of your own mind. If that is true, how is it that so many people see similar things? Even primitive cultures have used psychedelics. They also painted their visions on cave walls. I must mention that just as there appears to be entities invested in helping humankind, there are also negative ones who seem to thrive on chaos and fear. Montezuma, the last emperor of the Aztecs, was in contact with an evil entity whose name translates as hummingbird. Hummingbird was constantly giving Montezuma bad advice, and he followed willingly. As a result, mass amounts of people were ritually sacrificed, having their hearts cut out with a dull knife. One must be careful when participating in a psychedelic experience. Also, remember your surroundings will affect your journey. If you're tripping on mushrooms in your room with skull posters on your walls, you are sure to steer yourself into a dark journey. If you are in the woods with your friends and you all set an intention of what you wish to gain from the experience, it is much more likely you will have a powerful and profound journey. Another plant that has had profound effects on human consciousness is marijuana. I bring that up because marijuana can actually be a mild psychedelic when eaten. Marijuana these days is more accepted as having many medical purposes, not to mention many others as well. I will only explore the medical uses. Marijuana is used as a sleep aid, a treatment of pain, as well as a natural antidepressant and anxiety medication. Studies have shown that marijuana has enormous success with treating cancer. America is leading the way with legalization in quite a few states. Marijuana is still considered taboo. People who smoke marijuana are still considered to be abusers of narcotics, even though marijuana is not physically addictive. It can be mentally addictive, but this typically means that the person has an addictive personality to start with. Marijuana is abused by many around the world, and it loses its healing effects. The war on drugs is presented as having a concern for the well-being of the person or persons using these substances. For this, you are thrown in jail for your safety. The threat of violence every day for smoking marijuana is a fitting punishment. That makes no sense to me. Graham Hancock said it best. We already have laws for punishing bad behavior. If a person is harming another while they are under the influence of a particular substance, then they are punished, as they should be. It doesn't matter if you are high or not, the result is still the same. If a person is acting in a manner that is harmful to others, I would say that is because their personality, not the plant. These people should be punished and banned from the use of these substances. It would appear that the government doesn't want people using these substances because they are mind openers. Everyone can see that the government is corrupt in more ways than one. They seek to keep us under their thumb, just like the demiurge and Adam and Eve. Legalizing all drugs is the way to go, in my opinion. When you legalize drugs, then you reduce the number of drug-related crimes. Now instead of going to a house with a shady character, you can go to a legitimate business establishment. It is also possible the statistics of drug use will go down with legalization. There are some who try drugs for the simple reason that they are taboo. Whether or not psychedelic visions are a product of your brain or a tool to enter different dimensions doesn't matter in my opinion. What matters are the results of the experience.